Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial, and we're actually going to do cogwheels or gears in this tutorial. And this is kind of the basic before we start actually doing cogwheels, because I'm also going to introduce the animation. So what you see on the screen is the circle, and the perimeter on a circle is also some kind of distance. So when you rotate stuff, you want it to animate correctly. So I'm going to show this in the next, and eventually we're going to do really cool cogwheels. So we're going to do the same thing in Houdini and then Unity, and then we're just going to progress and make really cool stuff. So first off, we're going to start in Houdini, because this is what we're going to do later. So this is how it is, and I'm going to save my Houdini file here in my project files. That way everything is easier to import in my project. So now I saved my Houdini file and I have it over here. So all my other files will be saved here. So that's super nice. So in here, I'm going to make a geometry node, because first off, we're just going to make a circle and we're going to eventually make it to be a cogwheel. So I'm just going to make a node because this is where we're going to have a circle. So this circle is going to be in the Z direction, and it is. So this is kind of Z forward, and I'm just going to add some divisions for it. So we have the points here. And what I'm going to do here is to have a controller, and I'm going to have a wrangler for that. So about this wrangler, I put it on detail, and it's important. If you have it on point, it kind of doesn't update. So we need to have it on detail, and I'm just gonna call it controller. And this one, we're gonna have some stuff here. So we're gonna animate this stuff. Therefore, we need an animate. We also need a radius. And also, we're gonna have a perimeter. And that's kind of the length from here and around. So that's going to be equal to $pi, and you do times 2 times the radius. And now, if you have this like 1, it will be 1 times pi times 2. Which would be 6.14. So we need to save the radius and perimeter because we're going to use it later. So we can just, if you look down here, so when you press here, you see details. And here we don't have any attributes saved. So if we just do radius like this, radius, now you see we have radius here. So now we cannot save it. And then we just do the same with the perimeter. Now you see we have the perimeter here, 6.28, so that's perfect. And I always use the controller like green like this, so then I kind of know that this is the controller. So that's how I tend to do it. And the next thing, that is that you see this one is on the ground. Well, exactly, the center is on the center here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a transform like this. And then I'm going to do this also green, but a little bit lighter. So that's kind of, this one is working with this one. And now I want to, the radius that we put here, well, we have radius 1. That means from the center to the top is 1 unit. So now I want to offset this one unit up, because I want it to have a rack underneath the line. So it will move that one. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to, in this one, I'm going to move it up the radius size. If I do detail and go out like this, now we can, when you do this, you go out and fetch all the nodes here. And then you can see I find the controller over here. So I'm going to take that one. And then I can get the parameters on it. and we added radius on it. And then I do the first index in that parameter. So now you see we have 1 here. So if you add this stuff, then we kind of add this one unit up. So now you see it like this. And then if you think about, well, let's do top bottom like this. So this is the controller and we will pin it up here. So let's say if we want to spin this one lap. So then we can, in the radius, if we rotate, so if you look here in the down corner here, you can see that the z-axis is in this direction. Therefore, we want to rotate it in the z direction. So what we want to do in the z direction, we do detail, and we do the same thing again, controller, and this time we want to fetch the animate, and this we want to multiply with 360, which means whenever we animate, well, it doesn't work. That's because we should probably add, well, okay, so there's more than one way to do this. So I'm actually going to do the other way. So we're going to delete this part here. So I do shift, let's see, what did I do? So if I control left click in this one, we'll remove it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in the controller, and here I'm going to right click on this one and copy parameter. And then I'm going to go back to this one. You should have it pinned. And then here in the rotate Z direction, I just do right click and paste relative reference. So now you can see we have the value down here. So now you can see we are rotating it. Then we're just going to do whoops. So I'm pressing here, and then we see it, and then I'm going to do times 360, which means, so now it looks like this, times 360. And that means whenever this is 0, we have 0, and animate full is 1 lap. You can see it works perfect. And then we're going to have a line next to it. And this line going to be, so if I just click here to see that one, and then we have this line here, and I want that line to be in the X direction instead. So when I rotate this one, we should have the direction in this one, because we're going to move this one in this direction. And so we need a transform here too. And this transform going to use, so we're going to use the parameter. We're going to use this one instead. So we're going to offset it in the this one here. What we do, again, we do detail, controller, and then we do perimeter, and we do the first index. So now we see the perimeter. And how much should we move this one? Well, we need to move it as much as the animate value is. So if we look at this one, we just okay, first off, we just copy, right click, and copy parameter. And then in here, we're gonna, at the end, multiply, right click, paste, relative reference. So now when we animate, we have this, perfect. And then if I'm here and do Alt E, then we get this one up, so we can actually see the code a little bit better. So it's a detail here, perimeter times the animate. And now you can see that we also need to make sure that we have the line's length here to be the perimeter. So I just right click right click, copy, and then right click and paste. And if we just take these ones and merge them, and this one should be light green. No, wait, I'm doing wrong here. It should not be translate. Wait, so what I want to is to change this ones, because this one is wrong. This is supposed to be 6.28, the parameter here. So what I do is I just do detail, and this is gonna be controller again, and we're gonna fetch the perimeter like this, and the first index. Even though it's only one index, you need to put the first index. Now you see this is the length. So now when we are animating this part here, you can see we are doing it great, perfect. So if we just do like this again. So let's animate this. So what you notice is that now I just animate this like this, and we're actually going to put an animation on it because we're going to work later on using this one here. And the thing is, if we start that one here, and I do right click and keyframe set key, and then I go to, and also before we continue, if I press this one here we can change FPS. I want it 60 because that's mostly what game engines use. So I'm going to apply FPS. Now this is 1 second over here, and 120 is 2 seconds. So at 2 seconds I want the animate to be 1. So then I need to do Alt and left click, and now you see it's green. So now we have it like this. Then I'm going to go to 240, and here I'm going to take it down to 0 and left click, Alt left click. And then here I'm just going to do 240. So now all this line here is 4 seconds. And if we play now, you see it works perfect. But you see it's not really correct timing, and the reason is it's not real time. So if you click this clock down here, now it says real time toggle. And now it's light blue, and when you press, it takes 2 seconds. And the last thing, I'm just gonna make the things, if I do like this, if I do a color, and this is gonna be red, and then we do another one, that's gonna be the yellow one. So then I place this one at the line, and then I place this one here. So you see, this is more like a plate than a circle. So I'm gonna do open arc. Now we have it open, and if we look here, now we see we have the red one and the yellow one. And then I'm gonna add a little bit nice thing here. So I'm gonna do copy point, and what I'm gonna do here is have a spear. This one I'm gonna make it really small, like 0.1. And then here I'm just gonna add it at target point 0. And then so what I did, I copy this sphere down here, the small one, to the point 0, which is the point down here. So then we only have this one. Well, actually it's over here. And then I'm just gonna merge these two. That makes it easier to debug this later on. And then you see it's a little bit offset, so I'm just gonna go rotate it. So I'm gonna do it like -90. So I have it really nice down here. And then I'm going to do a sweep because I want to see the circle a little bit better. So in the sweep, I just need to do this second input to be round. And I'm going to do it to 0.02. So this setup, I'm just going to copy this setup to have it on this side too. And what will happen is that then this should be like this. So now we have the same setup on both sides. So now when we do the animation, you will see this small dot here on each side. It just makes it easier to debug and see it's actually very, very well aligning with the animation. So the last part, we're just gonna make sure that we have it to export down to the Unity. And I'm just gonna move this transform because this transform is only for inside Houdini. So I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna do a transform, and this is gonna compensate between the Houdini and Unity scale. So we need to make it bigger like this, really big. And then we do a ROP FBX output like this. And this is gonna be a circle 01 actually. So then I just do save, and then we're gonna have same stuff for the line. So then I just do the line here. Like this. Save it. This means we have for the next tutorial, we're gonna be in here and we have the line. Here we have the line, and then we have the circle. So we're gonna make sure that we just do this setup in Houdini. And the reason I just want to set it up like this is because I'm gonna take it a little bit further in the next tutorial and start to add the teeth on the cogwheel and explain a little bit stuff. And I just want this setup to make sure that everything is correct. So thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next tutorial.